guys, this is your second 5x5 workout. There was a bit of interest in the first one and I've been asked to do another 5x5 workout. So just to recap, if you've not done the 5x5 workout before, head over to the website and the YouTube channel and do video 1 first, just to familiarise yourself with it. This is very similar, as I've said, but it's just different exercises this time, okay? So the idea of the 5x5 workout is you've got 5 exercises, each broken down into exercise A and exercise B. So you'll do 30 seconds of exercise A, 30 seconds of exercise B, and then move on to the next exercise, okay? So there's 5 exercises for 1 round. Then you've got the option to repeat that circuit up to 5 times if you want to, because obviously each exercise A and B is going to take 5 minutes to complete, and then you've got the option, if you want to add on another circuit, so you're incrementing your exercise from 5 minutes to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25. Okay, depending on how many circuits you actually decide you want to complete. Okay, so you can pace yourself, think about your RPE, obviously go at your own level. All you're going to need for this exercise is a chair, just for balance purposes, and a couple of exercises, and also some hand weights. You don't have to use normal hand weights, you can use bottles, you can use cans, you can use whatever you've got in the house. Okay, I'm just using these because I've got them. Okay, so just make sure that you've got something by way of a hand weight that you can use that's comfortable to grip, because you need to be doing some overhead work in this, and we don't want them falling on the floor. Make sure that you're in a room that's well ventilated and that you're wearing exercise clothing that's suitable, no heavy jumpers. Even though it's cold outside, you're going to get warm. And also making sure that you're wearing the correct footwear. I'm barefoot at the minute because I'm in the house, so you know there's nothing around me that I can possibly fall over. But if you're on laminate flooring, you might want to rethink the socks, you might want to pop some trainers on. If you're on carpet, you should be fine barefoot if that's how you feel comfortable. All right, so we'll get started with the exercises. If you haven't already, you need to make sure that you've done your warm-up. Okay, so if you haven't already done a warm-up, you need to do that now and then come back to the video. All right, okay, see you in a bit. Right, okay guys, so your first exercise consists of exercise A and B, as I've said in the previous section, okay? So exercise 1A is a reverse or a static lunge, okay? So for that, you're going to need to hold onto your chair, stand by the side of your chair or behind, whichever feels most comfortable for you. You've got 2 different ways that you can do this. So a reverse lunge is planting the foot, taking it back, dropping the knee, and then coming to meet the centre again, and then alternating which leg goes behind to meet the centre. Okay, so that's your reverse lunge. A static lunge, you'll choose one leg to take back first of all, plant the foot on the tippy toes, bending the front knee and dropping the back knee, and then standing straight back up. Okay, and holding onto the chair for balance. Just make sure that you're not taking the foot too far back, okay, because you might find that you're stretching your hip a little bit too much. Okay, so you literally just step back, plant your foot. When you feel nice and comfortable, just drop the knee down. Okay, and then obviously 15 seconds on one side, 15 seconds on the other, dropping that knee. Okay, I'm going to do the reverse alternate method because I'm used to doing that. Okay, so you'll go for 30 seconds, just making sure it's a nice fluid movement. Okay, you can take your time with it, you can pace yourself, you don't have to be quick, and just making sure with each time you're planting your foot nice and solid before you're dropping that back knee. Okay, maintaining good posture, and make sure you keep breathing throughout as well, just so that you don't get too out of breath. Okay, so we're doing for 30 seconds. And then we're going to go into exercise B, which is a marching bicep curl. Okay, so a few more seconds. This should get your heart rate and your breathing up, and hold it there. Okay, so march that out, and then if you need a drink, get a drink. If you've got your hand weights ready to go, then you can start on to the next exercise. So exercise B, marching bicep curls. You've got 2 ways you can do this. Palms out, up to your shoulders and back down, or if you feel more comfortable doing a hammer grip, you can do whatever method feels comfortable. Okay, just make sure that you've got a good grip on whatever weight you've got in your hand. Okay, so 30 seconds straight into your marching bicep curls. Okay, just maintain good posture throughout. Don't go too quickly with the curl. Make sure you keep the tension in your biceps throughout and keep marching on the spot. Okay, chest is nice and high, back's nice and straight, and a good technique with each curl. Okay, so that's your bicep curl exercise 1B for 30 seconds. Okay, and then just march it out, pop your weights down and carry on marching just for a few seconds before you move on to exercise 2. Okay guys, so exercise 2 is section A will be high knees and section B will be a knee crossover. Okay, so a high knee is just like you're doing your warm-up, so your palms are facing down and then bring your knees up to meet your palms, alternate marching. If you want to, you can hang on to your chair and just use your hand as a guide as to how high we want your knees to go. Okay, so that is option A. Option B, or exercise B, is a knee crossover. So all it is just crossing over to touch opposite knee. Okay, if you want to make this harder, you can bring the arms overhead. Okay, and again, for stability, if you want to use the chair, you can just use one hand to use that as a guide. Okay, so that's your knee crossover. So you're bringing your knees up, but you're crossing your arm across your body. Okay, so 30 seconds high knees. So we're going to have palms out and down, and then we're just alternating the knee. If you can't quite get your knees up to meet your hip height, you can take your hands down slightly lower, but if you can, bring those knees right up, pointing the toes down towards the floor as you bring your knee up to meet the palm of your hand. Okay, so a few more seconds doing that. Maintain good posture, stay as upright as possible throughout each exercise. Okay, right, okay, hold it there. So you go back to a march, just march that out. Knee crossovers, as I've said, you can hold on to a chair if you feel that you need to. Obviously I don't, but if you do, then that's fine. So knee crossovers, you can keep it nice and low, or if you want to, you can bring arms up over the head and opposite knee to each hand. Okay, so you're just challenging your balance, challenging your core a little bit more by being able to balance on one leg. Okay, so a few more seconds, knee crossovers, and then back to marching. Okay, just marching it out, breathe through it, maintain good posture, chest nice and high. Think about your RPE whilst you're marching between your exercises. Okay, if you feel you're working too hard, then you just need to slow down your pace slightly. Okay. Okay guys, for exercise 3, you are going to be doing exercise 3A, which will be a shoulder press. Okay, so make sure you've got your hand weights handy. And then exercise B will be a sit to stand or a squat. Okay, so whatever you feel is necessary. So making sure that you've got your chair behind you ready to go into section B of your exercise. So grabbing your hand weights with your shoulder press, make sure your palms are out, elbows are nice and soft and bent. Keep marching throughout, extend above your head and back down. Okay, so for 30 seconds, nice, slow, controlled movements. No snatchy movements. Don't overextend the arms, okay? We don't want to lock out. Want to keep a nice bend in the elbows, okay? So making sure You breathe in throughout, marching as you go for 30 seconds. Okay, a few more repetitions and then that should be done. Okay, so popping your hand weights down out of the way, keep marching. Now you've got the option to do a sit to stand or a squat. If you feel you can just do a normal squat without the aid of the chair, then that's fine. If you'd prefer to do a sit to stand, then that's mimicking the same action. Okay, so making sure that the chair is on a surface where it's not going to slide. Okay, it's nice and stable, and then all you're doing is sitting down and stand straight back up. Okay, so maintaining good posture all the way throughout the exercise. Make sure your feet are nice and comfortably planted. If you can't quite do a narrow sit to stand, you can take your feet a little bit wider. Okay, that feels more comfortable. If you're a bit tight in the hips or your knees and ankles, sometimes a wider stance is a little bit better. Okay, so making sure when you sit back, you're not plodding down. Okay, nice and controlled. Few seconds, bum on the seat, and then straight back up for 30 seconds. Okay, and then back to marching. If you're deciding you want to do a squat, obviously again, plant your feet whichever way is comfortable. Some people like toes out, toes neutral, whichever is best for you. And then you just keep your chest nice and high. I use my hands as a guide. So, but some people like to have them by the side. Okay, so again, just making sure that your tempo is suiting to whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's your squat variety if you don't want to do a sit to stand. Okay, and just marching it out, get your breath back, ready for exercise 4. Okay. Okay, exercise 4 is going to consist of a wall press, that is exercise 4A, and 4B is a side step. Okay, so for your wall press, make sure you pick a wall that's relatively bare, got not much on it, so you can at least put your hands between objects that might be hanging on your wall. Okay, I've got nothing, as you can see. Make sure that your feet are far enough away from the wall. You don't want to be this close to the wall because you're not going to press very much. Okay, so you want to make sure you're a good 1 to 1.5 feet away from the wall. Okay, plant your hands a little more than shoulder width apart. That's how I feel comfortable. Some people prefer to be in a little bit narrower or a bit wider, so whatever works for you. Okay, make sure that your back's nice and straight, chest's nice and high, and lean into the wall, bending the elbows. Push away, but don't lock the arms out completely. Okay, so maintain a nice little soft bend in your elbows. Okay, so you're pushing towards the wall and then push away. Don't use momentum, so don't push yourself off the wall and then fall back onto it. I don't want to see none of that. Okay, so I want you to maintain good contact with the wall. Make sure that you're not overextending your arms as you're pushing yourself away, and that your back's nice and straight, no rounded shoulders as we're doing this. Okay, so nice straight back and chest is nice and high. Okay, so if you need to adjust hands, feet throughout the movement, that's absolutely fine, but maintain good contact with the wall throughout the exercise. Okay, so a few more reps and then we'll go straight into your side steps. Okay, so holding it there, march it out, give your arms a bit of a jiggle, get the blood back in to your arms, because sometimes it does take it out a little bit, especially in the shoulders. Roll your shoulders around a little bit and just get that blood flowing back into the arms. Okay, so your next exercise, exercise 4B, is a side step. So you've got the option to use a chair for stability if you need to, or you can just do it without. So step into the side, foot meets the other foot, just like we do in the warm-ups. Okay, so you can do a shallow side step, or if you want to challenge yourself, you can do a big side step. Okay, so you get like a little bit of a squat in there as well. Okay, if you're not comfortable or your balance is not the best, as I said, you can use a chair. So just bring your chair forward, holding onto the side of the chair, stand just behind the chair and take it out to the side so you can maintain contact with the side of that chair. Okay, and just sidestep in for 30 seconds. Okay, once you're done, march it out, and then we'll go on to the final exercise, exercise 5. Okay, right guys, your 5th and final exercise for this workout is side bends and rainbows. Okay, don't worry, I will demonstrate both. Okay, so with side bends you've got the option, exactly as we do in your warm-up, you can do this with or without weight. If you're doing it without weight, it's exactly the same as your warm-ups. So you're just bending down to the side, using hands as a guide, so hip to knee, and just use that sort of sliding motion to use that as a guide as to how far you're bending. Okay, some people can go a little bit further, some people not so far, depends on your flexibility. Okay, remember to switch at 15 seconds, so you do 15 seconds on each side. Side bends, back's nice and straight, chest is high throughout, you're not sagging forward. Okay, so you're not doing this, you're not touching the front of your knee, you're touching the side of your knee. Okay, so imagine that you're stood in something, you can't move other than side to side. Okay, so 15 seconds each side for your side bends. If you're using weight, you pick up one weight. Okay, start on one side, 15 seconds, again using your hand as a guide, making sure you're maintaining that upright posture, keeping your back nice and straight, because it is easy to sag forward when you've got a weight in your hand. Down to the side and back up. Nice, slow, controlled movements. Okay, you don't need to do these fast. And then swap hands, 15 seconds on the opposite side, just to balance everything out. As I said, using your hands as a guide. I always use my hands to say on my hip to my knee. Okay, a few more reps, a few more seconds, and then that's done. Okay, so march that out. So with your rainbows, again, you can do this without the weight if you're not feeling up to it. If you want to use your weights, you can. I'm obviously going to demonstrate with the weights. So grabbing your hand weights, you need 2 this time. So we're calling these rainbows. So I want you to have palms out, okay, holding on to the weights, and all you're doing is marching on the spot, taking the weights around, meeting the centre and back down. Okay, so making sure your elbows are nice and soft throughout this movement. Keep your feet moving, you don't have to do a full-on march. Okay, just keep the feet moving, lifting the heels and maintaining good posture throughout. Okay, for 30 seconds. Nice, slow, controlled movement all the way throughout. Okay, and that is your rainbows. So marching it out, pop your weights away, march it out. As I said, with this you can do up to 5 repetitions of the circuit, so you can do this 5 times all the way throughout, which will equate to 25 minutes of your exercise. Okay, you just want to do 1 or 2 circuits, that's fine. Just make sure whenever you've finished how many rounds you want to do, you go straight into your cool down. Okay, so hold it there, go to your cool down video, do your cool down and your stretching before you finish your workout. Okay, hope you enjoyed it.